So here's one really basic strategy. When somebody says, I have this dream, that's an invitation, isn't it? Well, tell me about your dream. And the simplest method is an organic method. Ask them to tell the dream. Ask them to tell it again. And ask them to tell it a third time. No interpretation on our part. We want to interpret because that's what we think where the juice is. It's when we're the expert and we come up with, well, I think your dream means this. But those dreams are the messages for the people who have them too. And if we think in terms of our being facilitators of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, then we can back up. So I can't help myself. I'm a counselor educator. I've taught basic skills and advanced skills. So when I tell you the skills, the counseling skills, it's distilled down to 6 or 7 skills. So the first one is simply mirroring or repeating verbatim what somebody said. The second skill is paraphrasing or summarizing. The third, and actually the third is a very rich skill, is to reflect feeling. It says affect up here, but feeling. Feeling has then 2 kind of aspects to it. One aspect is affect, and the other aspect is how does it feel in your body. That helps to ground the symbolism too. Does that make sense? So how do you feel when you talk about this dream right now? How do you feel in your body when you talk about the dream? How did you feel in the dream? Now, I was trying to teach my students to say, stop asking people how they felt. Right? Stop asking that. How does that make you feel? So it's not, how does that make you feel? It's, how do you feel? Because you're getting at what the emotion is. Or how do you feel in your body, which is that body kinesthetic sensation. Because that's information. And by the way, I think in January, I'm going to be co-presenting on embodied trauma with Alicia here, who's a body worker. We've been doing some collaborating then on how the body speaks around trauma. So you also use immediacy. Immediacy is something like, when you say this, I'm seeing this. And then help the client to start to define the symbols themselves. So I'm going to tell you a dream that I had. Yes?
I'm sorry to interrupt. If you're dealing with someone who's having a recurring dream, are there any additional skills besides those? Or are you still...
These are the skills that I use every time I work with dreams with people. Because I want the client to do the work. I call it holding a space for the work to happen. Again, I'm facilitating. I am not interpreting. Especially at the beginning. Now, clients are going to want to say, oh, what do you think about this? Don't they do that with other things too? Like, do you get sucked into that? Oh, well, I think blah, blah, blah. So be really clear that you're facilitating a client's understanding of what's going on. And symbols will start to recur too. So here's a dream that I had. It's a very significant dream for me. A Buddhist monk comes to me, puts his hand over my heart, and says, this is how you will heal. That's the dream. Now, that dream came during a time that usually I have these awesome adventure dreams. Awesome adventure dreams. They go on and on. I'm having high adventure, like crawling through tunnels and climbing mountains, and I do that, some of that. I love hiking and backpacking and So this dream is this little snippet. Like, I could describe this dream in one sentence. And I thought, it's not really a very important dream. But it's become a very significant dream. So let's take a Buddhist monk. So I want you to practice these skills with me. Are you ready for that? So what's next? I tell you, this is the dream that I've had. What's the next step? Tell it again. All right. This Buddhist monk is wearing these beautiful robes, and he's kind of young. Comes to me, and he puts his hand over my heart and says, "This is how you will heal." So what do you want to ask?
Tell it again.
Tell it again, right. So this Buddhist monk, he's in these golden robes, comes to me in this dream. And he's got such compassion in his eyes. And he puts his hand over my heart. And he says, "This is how you will heal." I hear now, as I've said that, there are two different, it's a double entendre. Do you hear the double entendre? This is how you will heal. Like, this is how I'm going to heal myself. And this is also how I'm going to heal others. Oh, wow. That's a pretty powerful thing, isn't it? What else do you want to do with this dream with me, using these skills? You might repeat some parts of it back. Yeah? What would you want to repeat back? Okay. What did you notice in that description?
Well, you changed the clothing. At first you said, this is robe, and then you were specific of the specific color. And then you described the space more in detail.
So that's what happens. As people are telling their dreams, sometimes they'll remember more. So there's real value in repeating the story. You know how we talk about, well, that's another story that you're telling. This is an important story to keep telling because there's some richness that may be lost in the initial telling. What else do you want to do? How else do you want to work with it? Yes?
I would probably want to point out the aspect of, I noticed that you teared up when you said this action.
So how are you going to use this? I noticed that you teared up when you talked about.
Do you want to tell me more about what?
Tell me more about that. So that's a question.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Right. So, Bob, there's a few questions. So be careful of the questions. How am I feeling? Well, actually, what happens is that my heart kind of expands and contracts at the same time. It's like at the same time. So I just gave you the body sensation in that. So that how are you feeling allows for that to happen, both the affect and also. What else do you want to invite me to talk about with this dream?
What does the monk mean?
What does the monk mean to me? You know, it's really interesting. I've been really interested in Buddhism. And it turns out that a few days after I had this dream, I picked up a book by the Dalai Lama. And it was a younger version, because there was a picture of this man. It was a younger version. That was the guy that I saw in my dream. So it means, actually, what I said, compassion.
Wow. Wow, that was a lot of energy. Holy moly. If this were my dream.
Who was that guy again?
Wow. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Wow. That's amazing.
this dream. Yes.
Well, I'm always interested in the narrative, the story.
What's the story?
And I would want to know if in your life you have ever had a more powerful person or a more awesome person or something like that come to help you out with anything. And is this happening again?
That's a great question. So, drawing the parallel to when, has anybody like this ever shown up in your life or in your dreams before?
And I don't particularly mean a Buddhist monk, but somebody
Right.
more
A powerful person,
more
a powerful
knowledgeable
being.
that has helped you in
Or
this
symbol.
way. And it was a positive experience of what was then that'll come up, of course. And was it helpful, or is this happening again in some way?
So what you're already doing is starting to pull together what's happening now what's happening in my dream, and what could be it could be messaging for my life right now. Yes. Be careful of leading people.
Exactly.
So part of the reason I want to encourage you to tell this dream at least 3 times is to have us back off from leading people to what we think might be going on in the dream. Because again, dreams are personal. This is for the dreamer. And if we're facilitating, then let's figure out how to facilitate. I think that's an awesome question. It's about timing, that question. So you might ask, so what might be going on in your life now that this dream would be coming now? And then you might get into the symbolism of the powerful person or being or symbol. Great, that was a great question. How about others? Yes.
I know there's a lot of symbology involved in colors, so would you ask what the symbology of gold?
Yeah, tell me what gold means to you. Yes. What does gold mean to you? So those are the questions that I would definitely ask. And in fact, one way to work with dreams would be to break the dream down into its symbols, just the symbols, and then and to develop a dictionary of the symbols, and then go back and retell the dream, substituting the meaning for the symbols. Does that make sense? Yes.
At any point, would it be appropriate for them to maybe tell the dream again, in case there's some things that come up in the midst of the discussion?
Yes. Yes. Go ahead and have them tell it more than 3 times. In fact, you might say, well, I noticed that this was a little bit different. Would you maybe go back and add all of those pieces this time? And you might prompt, oh, and this is the point where you said this, too. Because there's this richness and depth of symbolism and messaging that dreams can bring to people. Like I said, and I alluded to, but I'm going to say it more clearly. Dreams not only will bring a problem, they will also bring solutions to the problem. Sometimes we have to really dig for the solutions, because sometimes people miss it. With nightmares, then.
I was going to say, as a body worker, when you talked about what you felt in your heart, I would follow that. Because so much of my story is in my head, but the body doesn't lie. So if there's a place, I might ask, wow, be with that, really get a felt sense of what's happening there. Was there any other time, think back as far as you can, was there any other time that you remember that sense of whatever's happening there?
That's lovely. So did everybody hear that? So from that body sense to make the connection from now, when else have you felt that way in your body?
Dr. Thomas, question.
Yes.
Could another reason for asking them to interpret the dream or to repeat the dream be a way of trying to
so the question is,
define what the symbols are based on what they're
right,
saying.
so that's an organic process. So what, and here's a parallel. What we know about journaling and journaling experiences is that over time, people find meaning in the experience when they have journaled about it. Pennebaker has written all kinds of articles on journaling. So to restate the dream allows the meaning to come forward. Yes. Anybody else? Other questions? Yes.
Do you use the same skills to assess the client in looking or finding or defining the solutions in the dream as you do back in the problem?
Yes. Yes. Sometimes what happens, so the question was, do you use the same skills to find the solutions? And the answer is yes. So you might go back over the dream and say, I'm wondering what solutions might be coming from this. Let's tell the dream again. Yes.
I wonder if you would comment on some charlatans who bring dreams into the therapist's office where there's repressed incidents in their lives, sexual abuse, and you know they're going to go into court with this, and they may be looking for you to become their advocate, and you're stuck between the devil and the deep blue sea. What are you hearing? Are you hearing somebody who read Freud's interpretation of dreams tied in with post-traumatic stress disorder from DSM-5? Or are you listening to somebody who really has a problem? Discovered that one of the first questions that you ask is, and who was your attorney?
So it sounds like something like that has happened for you before. So what do you do with, that's a really long question, and I'm going to see if I can distill it down. And here's what I heard from it. Can you tell a difference with somebody who's bringing in an actual dream and somebody who's bringing in a dream that wants to kind of manipulate a session for their own personal gain, whether it's for a court case or whatever?
It's always a court case.
It's always a court case. Do we think he's had that experience? I haven't had that experience, so I'm not sure how. I think it's, I guess people can make up dreams. Jean, this is why I brought Jean. Yes.
Bring your own expert.
I bring my own expert, and my expert is speaking.
The thing that is impossible to make up is the feeling. Therefore, if the therapist goes to the level of feeling, not just how does that feel, but let's work with that feeling, you'll be able to tell right away whether it's a valid experience that somebody's had or they're making it up.
Did everybody hear that? So at that level of feeling, and this ties to what Alicia said, the body doesn't lie. If you're able to, when you're able to get to the level of feeling, body as well as affect, then that's where the truth is. Yes?
I was thinking there might be a real challenge to use some silence in the session too, like when you offer something reflects, wow, that sense of compassion is like palpable in the room. And then just sit there with that statement and see if they start saying more.
Yeah.
Could be immediacy maybe or something.
That could be immediacy, because that's your immediacy, right? This is, when you say that, this is how I feel too.
And then let it lie and see if they can go for more.
The power of silence is amazing. Anybody experienced that in their sessions? If you haven't, try it. It really is astounding. Yes. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether or not we want to somehow steer the individual to look at the dream contextually as what they seem to be doing with it. I think how we mentor may already cover that.
So the question has to do with do I do basic or do I start to, at what point do you start steering or deepening?
Well, I'm just, we talked about a couple of things here, and I feel like the missing piece for me would be what exactly appears to be going on with this client as far as what the dream
Right.
means.
And I think that that's what we naturally want to do. And here's what I want to underscore, that when you're first starting out especially, your inclination is going to be to interpret, to steer, to guide. And I want you to know that the dream itself can be the guide. And that's why I'm keeping it really, really simple. I want you to keep it simple. Because if somebody's going to bring you a dream and you're willing to work it, they'll come back with another dream. And the dreams themselves will do the healing when we work them. So we don't have to force it. In fact, if we force it, then we're getting ahead of our clients. That doesn't work very well. So there is an organic nature. People who have trauma, most people, right, 60 to 70% don't end up with PTSD. Most people who have trauma, their nightmares are a way of processing themselves. The nightmares change all by themselves without making them change. So this is really about allowing an unfolding, creating a safe place, and allowing the dream to speak, allowing the dreamer to hear it. Yes?
I think one way to be in silence where it might not be somebody that is uncomfortable with being silent, but to offer a time to draw the dream or to take a stand
Right.
and represent the dream.
Yes. And actually drawing a dream, using sand tray to work the dream, using those other techniques are wonderful. Those are also allowing, aren't they?
Yes.
So art therapists don't force anything. They allow people to be where they are with their art. Play therapists allow kids to be where they are with their play, right? It's immediate and it's healing in and of itself. Kids play to reenact, to redo, to figure out other solutions. They evolve over time anyway, without forcing. So if there's nothing else that you take away from this, it's to hold a place for someone to talk about their dream without interpreting, without forcing, without trying to make anything else happen. The dream is the portal itself to healing. Does that make sense? Suzanne?
So what if we said after the third telling, when you tell this dream out loud to yourself, what message do you hear?
I love it. So yes, when you tell this dream out loud to yourself, what do you hear? What are some of the messages that you're receiving from this dream? Yes. Yes. My intention of underscoring the other skills is that we often go to questions first. Questions can be leading. So after somebody has told the dreams at least three times, then you can start. But I'm wanting to create the space. Yes?
Yeah, there's a interim technique that I'll use with people that I think is helpful, and that is, someone said to draw the dream. I'll have people draw what's right outside the dream. What's outside the window, what's under the couch, what's behind the bed. Just draw it. You don't have to talk about it.
Did everybody hear that? So what's an element that's not in the dream? If you're looking out a window, what's on the other side of the window? If there's a bed in the dream, what's under the bed? What could be under the bed?
working with people who are dealing with trauma, they go to their primary care physician, they throw them on Ambien or some other type of medication. What is the impact of that on their dreaming?
I think you already know the answer to that. So we know that medications affect dreams. We know that, so if we go back to when dreams actually happen, they happen in the first couple of hours that we fall asleep, especially those healing dreams. The terror dreams are afterwards. So if we're taking medication that prevents us from accessing dreams at that point, then I think that adds to the complications of trauma. That's my opinion.
I'm dealing with an individual who still has dreams.
I'd still work the dream. I'd still work it. Whatever is being presented is something that can be worked. So it may not be as easily related, but we just know that the dreams are affected. Now, I do want to say this too, that, again, we all dream, and we have 4 or 5 dreams every night, because that's how often we hit REM, right? 4 or 5 dreams every night. Now, there are some people who remember every single one of those dreams. 95 to 99% of us don't remember dreams. That was one of my disclaimers. Like, I don't remember all my dreams. I have not journaled all of my dreams. So just know that whatever dream somebody brings into you, even if it was from 6 years ago, childhood, chances are there are elements of that they're facing right now. So work whatever dream somebody wants to bring into you. Whatever piece of a dream somebody wants to bring into you. So it's about 1/2 right now. Yes?
You were saying earlier, before we had a lot of questions, that you talked about dreams and how there's solutions in the dreams, and then you said about the nightmares, and you didn't finish that. So I was just curious what you were going to say. And that's okay.
You saw me rewinding. It's all right. I was kind of going by back there. I'm not sure if I can get back there, but maybe I can answer that now. I think every dream does have, even nightmares have solutions in them. And so it's like what Jean talked about. It's like what didn't happen, what could happen. And what we also know is that when we change the ending of a dream, or when we change talking about a dream to what could you do differently, that's another question. What could you do differently? That works its way back into the unconscious, and that is also healing. So if somebody's having a nightmare, and it's a repeating kind of theme or nightmare, then one technique that you can use is to ask them, what's one thing that you would change in that dream? And then you would tell the dream with that change in it. And suggest that before they go to sleep, they repeat that changed dream, and then notice what starts to happen. So we can send messages back through working the dreams. Does that answer your question? Good.
I have a really severely traumatized client who often has dreams of her traumas over and over again, and when she tells them in session, it seems re-traumatizing for her.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if this would not be appropriate work with her at this time.
Correct.
Okay.
I think that's that. Can you be in that window of tolerance? If you can't be in that window of tolerance, then take a piece of the dream. Okay. So you've had all these dreams. Just take one piece and work a piece of the dream. Because remember, I said that's like a fractal.
Do I choose the piece, or does she?
She chooses the piece, because that's what she's. That's the willingness and the ability for the client. Yes. Anybody else? So how about a little time to practice? I'm seeing some. I don't think so. How about another demonstration with somebody who tells a dream, and so I need to have somebody who's willing to tell a dream, or at least a piece of a dream, and we'll work it up here. who's willing to do that? You are?
I am, but I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but,
It's okay.
my father had a stroke the day after Mother's Day.
Why don't you come up here? Could you do that?
I can't do that, okay?
Just so that we can get a little bit of. Tell me your name. Amanda.
A little personal, but,
I know, just
my father had a stroke the day after Mother's Day. It was stress-induced because my brother is an alcoholic and he got arrested. So it was all stress-induced. His blood pressure rose. He didn't classify it as a stroke, but a brain vessel burst and he started bleeding in his head. Had a headache, so he went to the emergency room. We thought we were going to lose him. Well, afterwards, I kept having these dreams that he was in some dangerous situation, and I would be very close to helping him, but then my brother would step in the way, and he would like turn into this horrible thing, and then I would wake up.
So the dream itself it's a theme dream, so it's a recurrent dream. Can you think of one of those that?
Okay, one of them that happened more than once was my dad was drowning. Present tense.
Yeah.
My dad is drowning.
Your dad's drowning.
My dad is drowning, and I'm on the boat, and I'm leaning down to try and help him, but I'm on the boat, and I'm leaning down to try and pull him up, but I don't have enough strength.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, out of the water, my brother comes up, and he's this thing, but I recognize him as my brother.
So when you see this thing, you recognize him as your brother.
But he's not like human.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Dreams have that funny thing
Yeah.
that happens with
Yeah.
the shifting. So I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath. There you go. And just slow down a little bit as you're telling
My
us.
heart is racing. I feel I am reliving it. I am. Okay. I'm on a boat.
So you're on a boat. So here's what I'm going to do just to help us keep it slow, because I'm trying to take some information
Okay.
into. I'm just probably going to repeat back parts of it with you. So you're on this boat.
I'm on a boat.
You're on a boat. Okay. I'm on this boat.
I'm on this boat, and my dad is in the water drowning.
Dad's in the water drowning.
And I'm trying to lean over to help him, pull him up, but I'm not strong enough. I'm too weak. And then all of a sudden, something comes out of the water, and it's not my brother. It's my brother. I can recognize that it's my brother, but it's not my brother's figure. He's something else.
Something else.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's maybe take a piece of that. Actually, what I'm going to do is actually ask you to say it again, just a little bit slower, even slower. So I know that as you're thinking about this dream, it's starting to come up. You said your heart's racing. What else is happening in your body?
I feel like I'm shaking a little bit.
Shaking a little bit. Okay.
I'm scared.
And you're scared.
Yeah.
So you're scared as you're telling the dream, and you're scared in the dream too. Okay. So just slow down a little bit and tell me the dream one more time. Really slow.
I'm in a boat, and my dad is drowning, and I'm leaning over the boat trying to save him and pull him up, but I don't have enough strength.
You don't have enough strength.
Yeah, to pull him up. And then something comes out of the water, and I recognize that it's my brother, but he's not in his human
It's not
form.
in his human form.
He drags me back down.
And
He drags my dad back down.
okay, that was another piece that you did that you added this time.
Okay.
So as you're telling it more, how do you feel?
Sad. And scared.
And scared.
Of my brother.
Of your brother.
And scared for my dad.
Scared for your dad.
But my brother's gonna keep pulling him down. With his alcohol problem.
So what's happening now is that you're making some links to what's happened in the dream and what's happening in real life. The dream is a wonderful metaphor. What's the metaphor that you're picking up there?
Well, he's an adult and he's living at his mom and dad's house without a job, and he keeps messing everything up.
And how do you feel when you say that?
Angry. Very angry. I feel like I'm in therapy.
It's interesting, right? What else are you noticing as you tell the dream?
I get less scared for my dad and just more angry.
More angry.
After I say the whole thing,
Okay.
I'm sad, and then I kind of I focus towards being angry at my brother.
So, tell me the difference for you between sad and scared and angry.
Sad and scared and angry.
Yeah, they're really different feelings.
Oh, I don't like to be sad or scared.
Okay.
I'm angry all the time.
Right. So if we were to go back in this dream, because it's a scary dream, and focus maybe on a different ending.
Can we make one up?
Yeah, make one up.
I pull my dad out of the water, and he thanks me for saving his life, like he actually did. And we go about whatever we were doing on the boat.
So when you say that, how do you feel?
Happy. And wondering why we were even on a boat, because we don't have a boat. And we don't fish, so.
So we can talk about boats and
Yeah.
what the symbol is.
Yeah.
But right now, though,
Yeah.
let's talk about then.
I have a real big fear of drowning, so I don't know if that's.
Okay.
I'm definitely afraid of drowning.
So dreams have lots of layers
hear
to
that?
them. Did you hear what she said? I have a deathly fear of drowning. Okay. So there's another piece to this dream about your own fears.
Yeah. Yes. I really like Shark Week though, so I don't. If my brother was a shark, I don't know.
So in the
I'm
dream,
getting sidetracked because I'm
Okay.
nervous and I use humor to deal with it.
okay. What do you want to observe or ask? Yeah, ask. Suzanne, and then we'll go over.
Well, in the second time when you told your dream, you used the word, you described yourself as weak. When you were saying you were trying to pull on, but you couldn't, you said I'm weak. And so I'm just curious how that kind of translates around to real life and your ability to help your father.
So let's keep it simple. What do you really want to ask?
How you feel about, I'm not really sure.
Here's what I think you're asking. I'm going to channel you, right? Are you ready? So the second time that you told the dream, you said I felt weak. You also talked about I don't feel strong. How does that play out in your body?
So why do I think that I said this?
How is it? Yeah, so tell me what it looks like. Show me what it looks like to feel weak. And how about strong? Tell me the dream ending. Doing that.
I pulled him onto the boat. Are you talking about the one I made up? The happy
Yes.
one? Okay.
Yeah.
I pulled him onto the boat with all my strength, and we hugged, and he thanked me for saving his life, and we went on our merry way in the ocean.
Okay. Isn't that? So what do you notice is the difference between this telling of the alternate ending and the one you told before?
It felt better.
It felt better.
I felt lighter. I didn't feel as heavy.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that when you told it the new ending the first time, it kind of flat. This time, so try it again. Only that was really strong.
Don't take this back to work. We're doing the ending that I liked.
Yes.
Okay. I pulled him onto the boat with all my strength, and he was like as light as a feather, and he hugged me and thanked me for saving his life, and then we went on our merry way and we went fishing.
Or something. what do you notice?
Like from the dream?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I do go to therapy, so we found out that I have this sense of control that I didn't know I had until I was 24 years old. Because I felt like I needed to control it, because with my brother being an alcoholic in the house, I was the one who was trying to find AA meetings, VA hospitals, this and that. I felt like my mom and dad weren't doing what they needed, but at the same time, because it was enabling them, it wasn't my position to do all that in the first place. So when that happened, I felt like I needed to lock my brother out of the house, maybe even try to just get him arrested so he could get better, I don't know, sober up, and I just realized I can't help my dad when I'm emotionally distraught anyways. So I guess that's the weak part that you were bringing up, because I was dealing with it and it was hurting me, so I couldn't help him because I was taking too much on me and putting too much on my shoulders.
Okay.
Just like we remind ourselves we can't help our kids or residents or clients if we're not taking care of ourselves.
Yeah. So if we explore this dream even more, we'd say, what's it like being in a boat?
Oh, I get very motion sickness, so that's another reason why I don't even know I was in the mood.
And what does a boat mean to you?
Rocky, not sturdy, not stable.
Okay.
Moves around a lot.
Something that's rocky, not sturdy, not stable.
Takes a lot of maintenance.
Takes a lot of maintenance.
Right? They do.
They do.
You gotta worry about the weather. If it's really rocky outside, you gotta higher it up or lower it down.
This is an extraordinary symbol. Yeah. Yeah.
My dad wanted to buy it once, and I said no.
You said no. Okay. So let's then, so here's where you can go back. Do you hear that we're doing good on time? You can go back. What would we want to do at this point, you think? What could we do? There are lots of different options.
Should we have her retell the story now with the symbols and her meanings that she found?
Right. So instead of using the word boat, let's say you're not doing therapy, right? Like, let's say you have made all those other connections. Okay. Use what you. So I wrote some things down about when you said boat.
Sure did.
Like rocky, unstable, moves around a lot, unpredictable. Okay. So start with substituting some of those words, something that's as the start of your dream.
Like we're on a really rocky boat.
Forget boat.
Okay, we're on a really rocky
something.
We're on a really rocky something. And I don't know what it is. Do I know what it is? I don't know what it is. I'm sorry. I don't know where we're going with this.
It's okay. We're going back. Okay.
Okay.
And starting to look at the symbols.
Okay.
And what the symbols might be bringing to you. So you're just going to start with that. I'm on something that's
really rocky.
Really rocky.
It doesn't feel very sturdy.
It doesn't feel very sturdy.
I might fall off.
I might fall off.
And I don't know what's down there.
I don't know what's down there.
That's water, I'm going to die because I'm going to drown.
Okay.
It's my worst fear.
Okay.
This seems like
I could drown.
Yeah.
I could drown. I could drown.
So I don't get through tunnels.
So we got that part. The next part is, what happens next in your dream?
I'm trying to save my dad.
You try and save your dad.
Because he's drowning.
Because he's drowning. Show me the action that you use to try and save your dad.
I'm just leaning over trying to grab the top part of his arms, and he's grabbing my lower one so I can pull him up.
Okay. So when you lean over like that, what happens to your balance?
It's thrown off a lot.
Okay. So how does it feel to lean over like that?
I feel like anyone could come up and push me over and I'd be vulnerable.
Yeah, that's interesting. over, and it doesn't, it's, say that, what did you say again?
I could fall over.
I could fall over.
I'm vulnerable to anyone coming, pushing me over, anything happening to me, like anything.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on behind me.
Yeah.
Tell me how that might be related to what life is like for you. I didn't see that stroke coming out of anywhere because I've seen my dad be very, very, very mad before, and I can't believe that it didn't happen sooner, I guess, with blood pressure and everything. I've made my dad very mad. I guess I'm happy I'm not the reason why it happened. I mean, that sounds selfish, but maybe I've made my dad so mad that his face turned so red, he said he couldn't even look at me because I was causing him a headache. And this rupture was caused due to high blood pressure from being so upset that his son did another shenanigan. This is the 100th thing he's done. So maybe I'm...
Thank goodness that wasn't you that caused
that, because I wouldn't be able to live with myself.
Can you say that out?
Am I a selfish person?
You feel selfish when you say
No,
that?
I'm asking, is that selfish? I don't feel selfish. But do I sound selfish? Am I selfish?
What do you
No.
So you ask that question.
Maybe I do feel a little selfish. Maybe I'm starting to feel bad for my brother. I don't know. You're getting really deep.
You see, so I'm gonna stop here. Are you okay with that?
Can I get a note to go home?
Okay. So, anything that you want to comment or ask, if it as yes.
Well, from what I can hear, I as a therapist would then know that what I was looking at was a resourceful, great person who, in the interest of somebody else, is willing to go into very uncharted territory.
Yes.
Now, would I say that to her? No, but I would know.
You
that
might,
about her.
yeah, eventually,
But
right?
At the end of it, I might say that if it had come up, because I wouldn't want her to walk out the door knowing that that's what I
That she has resources,
well,
right?
She's brave because
Yes.
she's risking an area she knows nothing about, which is very dangerous, and there is also this dangerous shark type monster lurking there. And that in her life, as a matter of fact, she must be the sort of person that would risk that kind of thing in the interest of some neat fairy tale. And I would want her to go out of the door knowing I thought.
So where we're heading to, and we're going back, that window of tolerance, right? So a little bit of up and down, coming back, and trying to leave somebody with a sense of resourcefulness, too. So the resources were in there, we changed the dream, we've come back, we're deepening a little bit. So as you think back over the dream and the rewriting of the dream, what do you notice about yourself? What are some of your strengths?
Well, I'm very compassionate, I care, and I love my family a lot.
I'm compassionate, I care, I love my family a lot. Yeah.
But I can also see the kind of, I don't want to say negative, but the whole rule you learn in first aid when you always have you make sure the area is safe before you go in and save that person. I'd be drowning too, because I don't think I have to remind myself that at work. Because I would jump in front of a moving car before it would hit my president.
Okay.
But that's not the safe or logical or smart thing to do, because then they witness you get hurt because of them, and then they're traumatized.
So you are courageous and brave and
Silly. I don't want to say stupid.
it sounds like there's an extra step for you to take between deciding to help someone and actually helping someone. And I think that's what I get from what you just said about the rules of first aid is check to make sure things are safe. So maybe as we're tying things up, we start thinking about what that middle step, there's a new step in here for you. You think about what that first aid step would be in your waking. And you don't have to say it right now. So if you were to redo the dream, that might be an element that you put in there.
See if there's someone else to help them.
Yep.
Or like.
Check around for other resources. Yep. Especially if you sort of you're scared of
Why
growing.
didn't I think of that?
Because sometimes you don't think of things.
I don't think a lot. I just act. I do. It's a fault of mine.
Okay. So what can happen as you start to rework dreams is that you can start saying, okay, well, if you know that about yourself, and we rework this dream, how would you do it differently, knowing that? What would you want to add to it? And you don't have to answer now, because I want to spend a few minutes talking about what we've done up here. How are you doing? Good.
I'm curious now. I want to go brainstorm.
Good. Good. Okay. Thank you. Holy moly! So we weren't talking about her. We've got a group of people here who are already savvy about making connections. Do you see all the extra connections that get made? Right? So it's very possible to go very deep with dream work. It's very possible. Are you ready? Questions or comments at this point? Yes.
There was like one really strong moment I noticed in the affect and the narrative. In the first two titles, she had vulnerable feelings to me, like fear and sadness, and then the third telling converted to anger. And I was wondering about the patterns in waking life, you know, and if there's growth and, you know, vulnerability versus anger.
That's awesome. That's a great observation to have and to use as a I wonder how. And that's kind of where I was headed when I said, so tell me about fear and sadness and anger. Yeah, yeah. I actually think that there's a lot of power in anger that we don't have. It's harder to get access to when we're in the kind of vulnerable place that sadness and fear bring us. Yeah. How about others? So I'll tie up, let's see here. In your handout, there's some information about the International Association for the Study of Dreams. And here's the greatest thing. The conference is in Virginia Beach this next year. So it's an awesome opportunity for you all to take a deeper dive, to learn more. I had the opportunity, it was actually here 2 years ago, and there's some great speakers. So because it's local, you will have that, it's a great opportunity. So go to the website and find out more. There's also a cyber dreaming conference that's happening, when's it happening?
This conference is online 24/7 between September the 28th and October the 12th. 24 presenters.
24 presenters, readily accessible, easy. So that's online. You have, it's a nominal fee for all that you get. So just know
members
that.
get in free. I actually host that conference. It's fun. Those of you who are interested in the psi phenomena, paranormal phenomena, that's the focus of that kind of dream.
Right. That's that intuitive psychic stuff that is the precognitive, so excellent. And then IASD has a call for dreams for a book. So if you're interested in that, that's on their website. And just to say, I love dreams. I love being a consultant. I provide supervision for LPC. I have a consultation group that I'm starting as of this month. It'll be the third Thursday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Well, you're welcome to get in touch with me if you're interested in joining that group. I love referrals too. So a closing dream. I already told my Buddhist monk one. Let's see here. A closing dream. This one's also in here. So this is one that was written October 21st, 2001, and told to by Jody. Jody says, I'm talking with some people, dark-haired, beautiful women, I think. They asked me to commit to the task of growing, harvesting, and preserving a set of heirloom seeds. I hesitate thinking of the task and that I might not be so successful with seeds as with plants. Big responsibility, these rare seeds, and I'm not completely confident of my skill to do so. Also, I know that it'll require a long time commitment and patience. But in fact, I do accept the commitment and receive a small brown envelope with seeds in it. On the package, it says Golden Era, the name of the seeds. But immediately I realized that what I've been given and what my task is, I've been given the seed forms, the means, or images of a golden era, the golden or high time of culture, and it's my job to perpetuate these seeds, these means or life forms. So I read this dream because I see this as planting some seeds in you. Thank you so much for joining me.